Hey, Howard.
There are over 8 million drivers in the state of Illinois. With that many people on the road, accidents are bound to occur. I'm attorney Howard Ankin, and if you or someone you care about has been involved in an auto, rideshare, or trucking accident, I'm here to help.
He has your number in his phone!
Call my office for a free consultation at 312-6-million. I'm here when you need me. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
The director of hitting for the White Sox, I should probably introduce. Ryan Fuller is with us, and I approached you a little bit after the draft, like when we're all squared away, if we could kind of go through kind of what the process was for a lot of the hitters that you guys brought in. And since I'm about to go out to Arizona and watch Bridge League next week, this is really just research for me, and we'll record it and let everyone see me go about my work. But Ryan, this was your first draft with the organization. I'm assuming it's kind of the first as a director of hitting role. Just how is your process in being involved with this? Trying to give me your input. Drilling down on amateur hitters, and how to compare to maybe anything you've ever done before.
The draft felt really good about the process we had. So with Getsy, obviously, and then Mike Shirley too, leading the charge, we did a really good job of outlining what did we want to attract in terms of the hitter skill set coming into the organization. And the org values three things: your ability to make good swing decisions, make contact, and then impact the baseball, with it being hitting it hard on a line. So that was the lens we looked at with all these hitters as we were going through, not just mechanics, but what skill sets are they showing at the high school circuit and the college level. Certainly with the college guys, we have more data to make decisions off of. But the goal was, let's find guys who showcase two above average skills. We'll be able to develop the third, rather than going in one skill. Man, we're going to have to really work hard. Those innate three skills, let's see how many we can get. And I think we did a really good job of attracting those guys into the organization. And you can see already at Bridge Camp, the guys going to Kannapolis, you're seeing higher level players going in, being able to command at bats really well. And then when they make contact, hit the ball hard. So that was the lens we kind of went into the draft with and executed really well.
I know one of the questions Josh had was about what kind of metrics you look for. And obviously you referenced like the data being a lot cleaner, at the college level, especially because you guys did invest in high school talent so much. What can, and certainly because the results of the level are going to be noisier with quality of competition, and just them being teenagers who are still getting the hang of a lot of things. What do you what's your sources of objective information, especially as you get down to the prep level of hitters?
It's incredible what is available now. Obviously, the high level guys play on the high school circuit, so they're playing at perfect game events, all those events where they have TrackMan going, they're collecting information on the pitch types, the velos they're facing. So we can then take that information and internally put together what we feel are the best ways of being objective about how hard they're hitting the ball, the types of pitch types they're facing, the velo they're seeing, the types of contact they're making off those pitch types. So a guy like Billy Carlson, when you look at his statistics and the metrics from the high school circuit, we saw a guy that made a lot of hard contact at the highest level amongst the guys who were first, second round talents, but also with that had one of the best walk rates on the high school circuit too. So you look at one metric we very much value is OPS. That's really closely correlated with scoring runs. So you look at the ability to get on base and then also to slug, and he shows the ability against really quality competition on the circuit. So couple that with, okay, he's got above average bat speed too. We see the ability to make good swing decisions, make good contact. Obviously, there's things to work on with every high school player coming into pro ball, but those were some of the ways that we were able to stay objective with the subjective of what we were seeing on video and what our scouts were telling us.
With, in delving kind of what the process is, like, do you kind of get excited about Billy on your own and find out, the scouts love him too? How is the process kind of interwoven with, do you kind of take where the team is already looking and give your feedback and breakdown, or is it, you're kind of fishing on your own and then you kind of compare each other's work later in the process.
That's the beautiful part of the draft. You go in knowing, okay, we are going to pick at 10. Here is the very long list that we're going to delve through as we start the year. And certainly this process started when I got hired in November, and you're spending time looking through all of who could be available at that pick. And certainly each person comes in with their prep list of here are my top 10 guys. And then you go into the draft and it's, okay, he got taken away. Okay, he's still available. And you're having those conversations in real time. But the homework, the work we did on the front end, certainly Billy was always at the top of that list, especially not just the offensive side, but we all know what he can do on the defensive side. And we went and worked him out at the University of Tennessee, and it was evident him taking ground balls, what a high level athlete it was. And we had the ability with Jeff Head, our director of sports performance, to take him through some workouts, get some metrics on him physically, and you saw a premium athlete. This guy is going to be really special. And then the offensive side, already doing a lot of nice things. And then looking ahead to the future as he gets stronger, the development work we're going to put in can be a high level hitter too. So we were thrilled to get him.
I think his hit tool is probably what industry wide you hear the most scrutiny of, even with the contact rates being where they are. And obviously his defensive, abilities and position give him a very high ceiling if it connects. But where do you see kind of the gap between like maybe present hit ability and what he projects to be, what you see the ceiling as, and how you kind of see him getting there as he gets stronger, as he gets more experience?
Let's look at it through the three skills, that lens right there. So already showcased the ability to take the walk when it was presented. He's going to see obviously better pitch shapes and types at the pro level, but feel strongly that he's going to make good swing decisions. The way we train, it's going to be a part of what he does. The other side, impact. He has above average bat speed. It's loud when he connects. He has the ability to hit low line drives, which we've already seen beautifully at Bridge Camp, but also when you leave a hanging breaking ball, can hit it through the pull side gap. What you alluded to with his contact ability, certainly there's some swing and miss there. He's going to see better pitch shapes here. But as he develops, as he works on a swing, which he already is in Arizona, he's going to get stronger. You see young guys when they come in, very big moves. Their body isn't stable enough to be able to hold those movements. Everything will just get tighter. So those bigger moves will start to get a little bit tighter. His movements will get a little bit cleaner. And obviously, when you're making good decisions, pulling the trigger on balls over the med ball that we have right behind home plate, which is the heart of the zone, he's going to make more contact. So we look forward to the development. And it was funny, you look on Twitter the last couple of days and you see Pete Alonso when he was coming into the draft, and it's just this guy where it's like, man, who would have thought it was going to be that way? So certainly when you look at Billy, there's things to work on, but swing wise, he's already way ahead of most 18-year-olds and where they're at this level.
I'm glad you said stability, because that was my thought, and like kind of watching his hand load, it seems like movements they're kind of like getting his, stabilizing his body, like something that as he gets more core strength, you could see him maybe not needing to make as much of like a movement or a dropping down of his hands to load up. Is that something you can just project looking at his frame, or is what kind of specifics of him growing where that gets cleaner and tighter as you talked about over time?
I don't always want to say get in the weight room, it'll clean itself up. There are things that he's already working on in Arizona to just get his body working more efficiently. And what you alluded to, making sure the hands don't get stuck back too early. As your lower body moves forward, that's when your upper body retracts and you feel the tension at the right time and be able to go. So luckily we have Matoki, our biomechanist in Arizona with him. He's already been in the lab a few times. So we get objective measurements of here's what's working, here's things that we could potentially clean up in the swing. So we're attacking it every single day, and we have the objective measurements to be able to show him, hey, you worked on this drill set, it is showing up in these things that we value, and being able to show him the stick figures of here's where you were 2 weeks ago, here's where you are now. That's good progress. How's it feeling in the game? So getting him to buy in, working on the right drills, and certainly he's going to get stronger, it's going to get tighter, but there are things that obviously we can do in the cage and we're already addressing.
Jaden Fauske. I don't know if anyone would really blame you if Jim Thomey's endorsement was enough to get him in the second round. But what about the package was very exciting for him offensively just at the outset?
We were thrilled to get Jaden. I mean, the room, obviously, not just because we have JJ Lally, he had him on the team, the White Sox scout team. We have Jim Thome in the room, obviously coaching him, but it was aside from those relationships, one of my top guys on the list, and that certainly was felt around the room too. But just a really mature approach, understands the strike zone, has really good hit ability already, and I see him as having really nice power potential in the future too. But certainly, it's a hit tool. We've already seen at Bridge Camp shooting line drives the other way when it's thrown middle away, lets the ball get deep, commands the back of the zone really well, and then in batting practice, you see flashes where it's okay. Let's see if you could go pull side gap, and it's really good ball flight that way too. But what impressed me with him and even Landon Hodge, obviously two guys who were going to go to LSU, they look like they've been to LSU, like physically mature kids, and you see the build, what they're going to be in a few years, and it's really exciting. But Jaden prioritizes the weight room. He's already a physical kid, and now it's getting everything to move in a way where that strength comes out as consistently as possible in the contact quality.
Like I wouldn't say he's like the reverse of Billy, but it seems a bit more like the hit tool's present, and it's about especially if he winds up in an outfield corner, the question around him is like, well, I think people kind of put corner outfielders in a bucket of like there needs to be above average power or it doesn't work. And obviously Jaden's going to continue to play center field, and maybe that's where it winds up as well. But how do you see the current ability of the hit tool driving how his power kind of matures over time? And what do you kind of do to, I guess, grease the track for that process?
I love his bat path. I think that's number one. So the ability, when I talk about covering the back of the zone with the entry of your swing and being able to stay on plane through the front of the zone. So how your bat interacts through the pitch plane. And he shows the ability to go back of the zone, hit low line drives to the opposite field, but also carry that bat path really stable through the front of the zone where he can go through that pull side gap too. So that's rare for high school hitters to be able to do that. Often you'll see guys where it's just kind of like steep to the front of the zone where they'll clip balls out in front, get every now and then to the pull side, but show no coverage on breaking balls or letting the fastball get a little bit deeper and shoot balls the other way. So you see with him the ability to be a complete hitter. And as he gets stronger, he's already a physical dude. That power is going to show up when he learns, okay, when they throw a ball middle in, like that's the one I'm going to turn through rather than trying to carve a ball opposite field. Where they throw it, I'm going to hit it and I'm going to hit it hard. And he's already shown the ability to do that. So really excited about what's to come for Jaden.
Is that plane that you're talking about, is that kind of, can that be the difference between guys who are kind of late on something and they wind up chopping into the ground because that's where their swing path's kind of going down, versus being able to, take those opposite field hits when they're there?
That's obviously it. And this is a complete hitter. Obviously, this is how you draw it up, and it's not always going to be that simple. But the guys, and you look at like an Anthony DePino, that what we could talk about here in a second, but you look at his college numbers and it's okay, you want to throw a fastball away. I have the ability to just let it get deep, hard line drive through the opposite field gap. Okay, you want to leave a breaker up there for me? I'm going to not wait on it. I'm going to go attack it out in front. So these guys understand already. We've had presentations on it. They're training in different ways, off angles, different pitch types to learn that. So even if it's not inherent for guys like it is with Jaden, we're going to challenge that bat path and feel like your margin for error is really long versus feeling like you have to be perfectly on time to one spot.
I just talked to Hodge the other day, and he was really geeked about kind of the leg kick he installed mid through his senior year. And he felt like it was letting him stay back in a way that he maybe wasn't before. Were you following him long enough that you saw that switch, or how did you see that kind of affect his game? And did it maybe vault him to a level that you didn't have him before, or did you kind of see that potential in him where you kind of kept a steady view of him?
Yeah, we obviously kept a steady view of him. Really excited to get him the first pick on day two. very athletic catcher, but the hit tool and the power potential in the future is certainly there. Him and Jaden, I see lefty hit tool and a little bit of pop there, but when he came in and he was showing the consistent leg kick, because we had seen, a smaller move with the lower half, and what I always talk about is reciprocal movements with your lower body and your upper body. If you have a really big leg kick, you don't want to have a really small load. You want those two pieces to match up well. So when he came in with a little bit bigger leg kick, I thought it matched up perfectly with the way his upper body was loading. And you saw that synchronicity and his body just working a lot better together versus when we saw a few videos, it was really small lower half and the upper body was way too dominant where the bat path got a little too steep, wasn't giving himself that margin for error. But when he got to Arizona, he looked great. We got him in the lab. We were able to see still obviously things to work on with him, but a smart kid already making a smart choice. And that's always a great sign.
Lodis, I think it's Lodis.
Lodis. Yep,
Lodis.
You're right.
Obviously, you guys sent him out to high A right away. So I imagine you felt he was pretty polished. What impresses you about what's kind of already pretty mature in his game, and where's the kind of potential of growth? Because I think he's probably a little bit in the box of hit over power right now, but where do you see his game kind of still having room to mature as polished as it is, coming out of college?
We had him on our board for a long time, and he has two above average skills. His decision skills, patient hitter, but is aggressive when he should be over the heart of the plate. His contact skills against most pitch types, really, really sound. He has some sneaky pop too. I mean, it was over 50% hard hit rate at Georgia Tech. He had 16 home runs. What we love about him is his ability to make hard contact on a line. His 5 to 30 launch angle percentage was something that was really attractive to us as well. But he understands the at bat. He understands movement wise what he's trying to do. Having a conversation with him about the micro adjustments from game to game is really impressive. Understands his swing, what he's trying to do and what he's trying to become. But with him, I think he knows it really well. He is undersized right now. It's getting to pro ball, the demands of the game, playing every day, being able to take this opportunity of the offseason, come to Arizona, work with us, get stronger going into next year, and being able to withstand an entire season will be a huge key for him because he does showcase the ability, good swing decisions, good contact, and now it's being able to hit the ball hard enough that it's going through the gaps.
I guess, do you look at this first 2 months, right after the end of like a long season, whether it's for college players or for high school players who maybe haven't even played for a couple months before this? I think of, obviously predates you, but Jacob Gonzalez like struggled a lot in his draft year, but it wound up being like what the genesis was for making some swing changes and really kind of giving a look for what he could be afterwards. So maybe sometimes this can be a window for that, but it seems like the results aren't necessarily the biggest focus from the first out of the shoot draft year. So what kind of do you look for out of like what we're going to see from this season?
The first thing when they got to Arizona was, you are now a White Sox employee. We want to onboard you with what we value here. So we had a really good week of going over everything that we value, how we train, what they can expect. And we got them into the lab like we've talked about. We got a really good blueprint of where they're at and being able to compare it in a month when they come back to Arizona, and we're able to see the progress they made. But we have the objective information now to work off of, and these guys have individual drill packages that they're working with the coaches in Arizona, in Kannapolis, in Winston. And I was just with Winston with Kyle. I was just in Kannapolis with the guys there, and the coaches are attacking the plans really well. So certainly we don't want to just say, go there, we'll see how you do. We have the information to be able to tailor their work for the next couple of months to really meet them where they are and start to make progress. So looking forward to see how it is, but certainly guys go out there. It's an adjustment, especially with the draft being where it is now. The college guys hadn't played games in a couple of months for a few of them. So it's getting back into the game speed. You go to Arizona, you're waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning because it's so hot. You got to have your day start really early. Then they go to Kannapolis or Winston, and now the day's flipped again. So there is certainly an adjustment period, meeting a lot of new people, getting your face around new players. But these guys are doing a really good job and feel really strongly about the work they're putting in already.
I wanted to ask you about Boughton because mostly in talking to him and hearing about him, it's like, well, I understand why they took a risk on this level of athlete. Um, Without knowing a ton about his offensive game or seeing a ton of his swings, just how do you see that athleticism both in his present game and what it maybe enables you to do after him going forward?
Really excited to get him. Obviously, later in the draft, too, premier athlete, fast, wiry, explosive dude. There's work to do with the swing. It's very steep right now. Get him on plane a little bit more, understand how his body matches up to get on plane. But when you see him click the good swings, it's a loud skill set. So seeing him defensively moving out there, it's you see that track background right there. And he's one that we're really looking forward to developing as he goes through. But another guy, when you see him and Billy out there together, you see premier athletes, and that's obviously what we want to attract.
Colby Shelton kind of had talked about a little bit, prepping for this. Like he had one college season where you see the power, and he had one college season where you see him make adjustments, make more contact. What's the process of trying to put those kind of two campaigns where you've seen both these skill sets in there, having them work in concert?
You just outlined what made him so attractive too. It's kind of Jekyll and Hyde. How do we mash those two skill sets together where there is contact and there's damage together? But just spent time with him. Strong kid. I mean, this kid is very strong. Came into our camp in AZ, was one of the best workers in the weight room, and you see that strength out there when he really connects. And evident his freshman year at Florida when he's hitting all these home runs. There's a lot of juice in there, but it's also a lot of hit ability. So now, like we've talked about with the other guys, he's shown the ability, especially last year. Love his ability when two strikes, situational hitting. He shoots a low line drive oppo, but also he's going to make you pay when you challenge him middle in or you leave a hanger out there. So we talked about the positioning of his body, utilizing the grounds in an efficient manager, taking up space with his frame. And when he does that, he has the ability to do both. So he's aware of it's not an either or. It's working now to put those together to be a consistent guy, but really excited about the skills he's shown. He's going through an adjustment period here in Kannapolis that is totally normal, but his skill set's a really exciting one.
DePino put up really monster numbers in college. He clearly made and there was an effort to really get him, even despite him being a senior. It seems like his talent, given the scale that senior signings actually go for, it seems like a reflection of his talent what he did go for. Just what's kind of exciting, and is there more ceiling than maybe his age or typical draft placement would suggest?
I mean, we were thrilled to get DePino. Our analysts love him. I certainly loved him. Our scouts loved him. So when it came time to make the pick, we were really excited to get DePino. I mean, if you just look at a performance, I mean, one of the best players in the country in almost every area that we value, whether it's wanted expected OPS, WAR, walk rate, hard hit rate. I mean, he just lit everything up. So it wasn't two out of the three skills with him. He showed the ability, swing decisions, contact, and impact. And his 90th exit velo range was very high. I think it was the 93rd percentile. So the ability to do things that we value at a high level, he showcased really consistently throughout the whole season. And really excited about what he's already bringing to Kannapolis. High level guy, asks good questions, looks at our advanced game sheet, wants to know everything that's going into it, and already has an advanced feel for his swing when things are off, but going to myself, Charlie, the hitting coach in Kannapolis, and already asking, how can I be better? So excited about what he already is and what he's going to be looking ahead.
I had a couple questions on more advanced guys before we wrap up. Just one was Caleb Bottomer, because, in talking about the stabilization moves that Billy has, like on the other end of the scale, like Caleb has these very quiet hands. He's obviously has a lot of present strength already. And I don't know if you hear it, but something I heard from scouts is like, oh, his hands are really stiff and motionless. Like, I don't like that at the start of the swing. And then they'll watch videos like, oh, he's doing a bit more to get it going than maybe I gave him credit for. And clearly it's working with what his results are. But what's kind of, how do you see the path forward for that? Because it seems like he's never going to be a guy who maybe is moved, like doing Gary Sheffield movements hand wise pre pitch, but you see it kind of becoming more fluid kind of very gradually over time? Or if you probably could put in the terms of what you were describing better than me, obviously.
Yeah, Caleb, you look at the guys that we just drafted, you can point to Caleb and say, like, this is where we want you to be your first full year when you get to the affiliate. He is one of our strongest dudes at our Arizona camps. We were able to show him lifting 4 plates, really strong guy. And this is what's expected. This guy is having an unbelievable year because he's taking care of his body. He's putting in work every day. But what you talked about with his swing, if you look at where he was this time last year in Arizona to where he is now, you see some pretty big changes. And he's a stiffer mover. He doesn't need to have big movements to get his stretch and be able to be really strong with his swing. But you do see the separation that we talked about when his lower body moves forward, his upper body's retracting and holding back. He's doing such a much better job versus last year where it was kind of load everything at once and then it was everything coming together as he went forward. So already doing a really good job with that. But like any hitter, his next evolution that we talked about was they know you're Caleb Bonham now. You're going to be on top 100 lists. In the future, you're going to be doing really cool things. It's not just going to be fastballs down the middle. You're going to see, especially when guys get on base and there's a base open, you're going to see a lot more breaking balls. So, like any good hitter, it's you're at level 1, now it's level 2, and you're going to go to level 3. And what can we do in training every day to prepare you for that? And rather than just fastball, breaking ball mix. You're going to make decisions every day. You're going to understand where the pitches need to start for you to do damage. So, like any hitter, just the evolution of harder stuff coming your way, and there's not a better guy to be able to meet that challenge.
And like the more fluid he is, the more ability it gives him to be adjustable in the swing or shut down. I want to clarify like the reasons why having a bit more movement is helpful for him.
Yeah, when talk about like the timing of the separation is so important. So your body is going to move forward to stretch, but when you get to that launch position, when your front foot hits the ground, you don't want your hands coming with you. That's when you see guys chase breaking balls in the dirt that they want to stop on, but their body's already committed. We've seen him do a really good job of separating into launch position. His hands are in a really strong position to be able to say no and not commit to pitches. So that, to your point, is really important. But how each guy gets there based off of how their body wants to move will certainly be different. And Caleb is one of our guys that doesn't need a big move to get to a strong spot.
Finally, we couldn't have you on here without asking about torpedo bats. It's all I spend my days talking about, seemingly with Colson and now also Edgar Caro. I think my theory is both of them, it's helped them be shorter and quicker to inner half velocity, but what kind of goes into a torpedo bat might work for this hitter and might help, and why does it help?
Yes, let's talk torpedo bats quickly. So again, the best part about the Sox is not just in the big leagues. We have Hawkeye obviously in Chicago, and it's able to show us everything like a torpedo bat or a normal bat. Here is the bat, and here's the distribution of where you make the most contact on the bat. And for each guy, we have Joe Wilson and Aaron Trent, our biomechanists. They're diving into this every single week, and we're able to give reports to our guys where we have Hawkeye, Double A, Triple A in the big leagues, and if we see something, we bring it to them and say, "Hey, have you used a torpedo bat? We think it would be really helpful for you." And in the case of Colson and Edgar, getting challenged inside quite a bit and having some difficulties at time. But the torpedo bat, obviously, you're moving the mass to a spot where they're making the most contact, which is going to help that exit velocity be a little bit stronger. But also when you do that, the moment of inertia, so like the kick point of the bat where their mass is, changes the way guys are swinging at times and make it easier to turn the barrel for guys like Colson. And rather than their normal bat where the kick point might be at the end of the bat, which causes them to be a little bit longer to where they want to get to, when that kick point drops a little closer to their hands, they're able to turn the barrel a little bit tighter to them and get to those spots. But obviously, timing goes into this, contact points go into it, but being able to have an objective measurement of here's what's happening, we have a tool to then combat it and see how it goes. Awesome.
Was 10 home runs in 18 games what you were expecting when that switch was the data pointed to it?
No, but man, is it fun when it works out like that.
Thanks for watching the latest Sox Machine video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SoxMachine. And if you ever need something to listen to, subscribe to the Sox Machine podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, such as Spotify and Apple Music.